I will be getting started in just a minute, guys. See, someone has joined. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here. Basically, we're just kind of getting set up. Awesome. I think you are the only one that's here at the moment. So if you comment, I'm hoping it'll be just as easy to add you. And you're gone. You did. And I don't know if you disappeared or not, but I made you a moderator. So I was trying to see if there's a way to get you into this. Ha! Yes, you are now you're both people. So I'm not able to do anything with the unexplained cases version of you, but I didn't seem to be able to do anything with the other version of you either. You do have a split personality, and I appreciate it. I could put you in timeout, but that's not going to help. So yeah, this is another interesting. I decided to actually do this mobile, just to see if that would be any better. I don't think it would necessarily have any different luck if I was actually just on the browser. I don't believe I would anyway. But I could make this really crazy. Ooh, let's have like have like a delay here and stuff. Not a box set of these things, though. I don't think we want to do that. That would just be wrong. Um, no, that's weird. Okay. Well, so this is looking like another one of those situations again where it's like, yeah, you are only a doctor, um, but I will be curious to figure out. Like again, it's like so far, Insta was super easy to add someone to, and we had a bunch of participation there. Um, it's looking a little scarce right now, which is actually not a bad thing, considering. But it's funny that the browser version offers the same as the it offers the same as the mobile. But anywho, I see two people, so I'm assuming that's just you. So we're still safe to basically blab about this. Hey, you know what? At least you've been able to contribute 30 minutes to this. Okay, I mean, there's at least that. And in case anyone else is lurking and I'm just not able to see you for whatever reason, then pardon Darren and I's ineptitude at the moment. I appreciate you for, you know, your patience. But feel free to let us know any questions or thoughts or comments that you may have about our series and any questions, you know? Hey, Adrian. No, this is a little bit more gangsta. This is some OG stuff here, baby. Okay, let's get that straight. Exactly what we're talking about. What's really a little bit disconcerting is so I'm seeing myself live, and then I'm seeing the delay on the computer, and I just left that up. So it's a little disconcerting. It's like but so far that's been the value of this current live here, basically. Capone, yes, I am feeling a bit like Capone here. Hmm. Well, let's see. Mhm. I know I could make this a little bit more exciting here, basically, for if we decide to leave this up on the channel, which I'm partially inclined not to, but at the same time, it could be interesting content. You never know. Don't just outright decide you're going to delete something. You never know when it could be fantastic. Okay, I'm phoning a friend for a second. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Well, hello. Welcome. Time to do some card tricks. Yes, absolutely time to do some card tricks. Uh, Welcome, Earth aliens. Thanks so much for joining. We appreciate you. Basically, you got me, Rick Garner, and Darren Dito's in the chat at the moment here, basically. So if you happen to have any questions or comments, about our channel, by all means, let us know. Would love to would love to hear from you. The good news is we've been able to go to a bunch of different locations. If you've had an opportunity to look at the stories on our site, um, we've been able to be in essence on the definitely on the East Coast, since that's actually where I'm at. I'm located in Maryland, almost to the West Coast, and we've had the pleasure of traveling across the country, and you've been able to see those stories, and so we appreciate that. Um, Doing that is not something that is cheap. So we certainly appreciate the love and support, the financial support that folks have tossed our way, a lot of times through PayPal or Patreon or anything like that. So, I mean, our focus is to bring you great content. Our focus is to find the story, to find these cases, to let them be able to live on, preserving history by exploring the paranormal is definitely something that we strive to do in all of our episodes, and we love it. That's what we've done. The fact that Darren, when it comes to the topic, as he just mentioned, the Phoenix Lights, we did a story on that, and that, of course, is one of those kind of holy grail type of stories that so many people have done on that, but it's just one of those to where you really have to revisit it. I like the idea of capturing these interviews with eyewitnesses for posterity's sake, because ultimately, I think the worst position to be in, especially speaking as a journalist, would be when you think back and you're like, oh, I remember so and so had this encounter, they had this experience, they had this story, but you don't have any evidence of it. You don't have any recording, any audio, any video. You don't have them telling the story. Maybe you took some notes, or maybe they wrote something down. Some of these amazing accounts basically get lost to time, and so that's why Darren and I love what we do, is just being able to interview folks, capture evidence. A lot of times, just to let people think that I actually am not crazy. There is something weird that's going on here. There's justification to why I feel strange, or whatever, basically. A lot of folks don't actually want to even share stories. Just like in that, thousands of people is not an understatement, saw, all had the same description, even including the actor Kurt Russell, when he was and his son were landing at the airport. He described exactly what everyone's seeing. So, it's kind of one of those cases where, are you going to basically say that thousands of people were having some mass delusion, or some type of fictitious experiment there, basically, all taking part of to see and describe the same thing? That's kind of a tall order. Now, someone could say, well, isn't it a tall order to say that was a spacecraft? Well, what else was it? So that I think still is probably the apex of UFO encounters that exists, and wow, just a ridiculous account. And the fact that Darren was able to speak with some folks, and we have that episode up on the site. And so feel free to comment on that, to like, to subscribe. If you're able to be able to financially support us, we appreciate that. We're basically just spending a little time today, hopping from the the social media channels, just to be able to connect with folks. If you have any questions, drop them into the chat. Would love to talk about them. Um, yeah, it absolutely. Yeah, that was one of the things. I thought it was flares. Of course, the Air Force, the military likes to say a lot of things. Controlling fear and panic. Yeah, that's definitely something that folks like to try to take care of. Um, But yeah, we it's just a joy. Basically, I edit the pieces, and that's a joy for me. It takes a little work. We don't. Part of what makes us different as broadcast journalists, we're coming at this from a a skeptical journalistic standpoint, looking for the story, not a sensational standpoint. Um, Certainly, we try to make these as entertaining as possible, but our focus is the story. It's not us. Although today you know, I had to bring out the hat, basically like that. And we're just jumping from these channels just to be able to connect with anybody on this Saturday. We know that this is a strange time. This is an anxiety filled time. This is an unknown time. I mean, right now, so many folks, maybe you've been laid off. Maybe you've had somebody who's been affected by this virus. You certainly are like Darren and I in the fact that in each state it's a little different, but you're basically quarantined. If I was to get out right now, I have to put on a mask, a face covering. That's something new that just started basically at 7 o'clock this morning here in Maryland. But all of this is just basically trying to curb this thing, and none of us have experienced anything like this. So change makes people nervous. Um, but yeah, we've tackled all the unexplained aspects: ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, cold cases, missing persons. If it's forgotten history, and we certainly are interested in talking about any of that. I'm going to keep us going here for just a few more minutes, and then I'll wrap it up. We haven't had uh, we haven't had a lot of traction on this one, which is okay. It is depending on where you are. It's either a Saturday afternoon or it's getting to be about 6:30 here on the East Coast. Yeah, if you're logged into both accounts there, bud, this may have dwindled down to just you and I. Absolutely. A definite thank you. I think we'd be very remiss taking the time to do this live without thanking all the doctors, all the nurses, all the EMTs, every single medical staff. I even think of Ashley Godwin, who I see that although I don't exactly know specifically what she's doing, she is definitely in scrubs and she's helping out as well. And so, my goodness, extra love to anyone right now who's on the front lines, trying to keep us healthy, trying to keep us safe. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And Darren's right. We certainly are always looking for story ideas, any type of leads. One of the things we talked about earlier today was, hey, even right now, with buildings and locations shut down that are known for being haunted, you know, I think it'd be a phenomenal time. Still could practice social distancing and be safe with it, but still, I think it'd be a phenomenal time to be able to get in. It'd be a controlled environment. There wouldn't be a lot of people, a lot of noise contamination. It could just be a phenomenal opportunity to be able to collect some evidence and to be able to do an investigation. Now, the reality is you kind of have to know somebody to be able to do that. It's just it's not something that someone is going to instantly be able to do there, basically. And on top of that, here's the real crux of all of it, okay? At the end of the day, most people do not like to talk about these stories. They don't like to talk about their experiences because they don't, I mean, you, me, Darren, none of us like to be judged, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want someone basically thinking that you're a nutcase. So even if somebody wanted to trust us to talk to us about an account, an experience, putting it actually on video, turning it into an episode, basically letting everybody into their life, that's a pretty big leap. And so, we're grateful that, for everyone we've talked to, I think they're at the point where it's like, listen, this is truth, this is happening. If you don't believe it, I don't care. I think you kind of have to get to that point because it's like, say whatever you want. People are going to think whatever they want. This is actually something that's happening, but not everybody's there. Not everybody's like that. And so, I always appreciate anybody who, I think of the Ghost Hunters crew, anyone who basically their goal is to help the living and the dead. Their goal is to go into a situation and, whether it's to help someone pass on, to be able to get rid of an entity, and ultimately basically give a client some piece of ease to help them, to bless the location, whatever it may be. Basically, I think it's all about help. So it's part about capturing the story. It's also part about helping folks, make some sense of some things and get it all resolved and figured out. Yep, and you're right, Darren. I think it's going to be, it will be tough to investigate. I think of the conferences that were scheduled. I think of the locations, and a lot of this is also tours, so you have incomes of people who, if it's a tourist location, the fact that they have to shut down. And so I think some people would say, oh, well, you're making money off of something. And I'm like, well, on the other hand, people visiting a location, that helps to be able to keep it around, to keep it restored, to keep the lights on, basically, in a lot of cases. So it can be a bit of a labor of love having these locations. So, yeah, I think it will be a little bit of tough, which is also good while we've got some stories to be able to crank out during this time and be able to keep them going. Hey guys, it's 6:29. We're gonna hop over to TikTok now, but appreciate everyone for tuning in. And please, if you have any questions, any comments that you want to drop on this on our page, we'd love to hear from you at any time. Again, subscribe, like, comment, share, do all the good stuff. Absolutely. Just like Darren's saying, anyone in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia area, even if Darren can't make it out here, that's where I'm based. So would love to be able to collab with other groups. Would love to be able to help feature other stories. And then if it's in the Phoenix area, that's where Darren's at. Also, Los Angeles. We've got Miriam Faresh. And then we also have a couple of correspondents in the Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Mobile, Alabama area. Looking for stories, looking for tips. Thanks so much. Looking forward to more searching for the unexplained with you.